Ah, shit. Get your tea and your popcorn because this is yet another psychological jackpot. So, this unambiguous black woman, she decided to have a level up. So, she had some surgeries and stuff on her face, and then she had a glow up and decided to divest and marry the white man. You know, the precious, amazing, heaven sent white man that a lot of unambiguous black divestors love to brag about. You know how they say, oh, we're so desirable. White men prefer dark skinned black women over any other woman, and unambiguous black women make such great mothers. And, you know, they say all of these different things about how colorism doesn't exist once you divest to the white man because everybody's black to them. Everybody looks the same. Well, long story short, after this woman had some surgeries on her face and got married to a white man, she got pregnant by him and they had a biracial child. And the white man thinks that their biracial child is ugly because he has her original facial features.
We just had a child and he started calling my baby ugly.
That is not
right.
My
baby's only 1 year old. He's handsome. And he says that because the child does not look like his family lineage, that my baby is ugly.
So this goes back to my talking point about how a lot of the divestors, all they're doing is attracting white men who are essentially incels who couldn't get white women. And that was their actual preference. It was never unambiguous black women. And so they're kind of getting almost like the breadcrumbs or the leftovers in some cases of the white community. I feel like that's what's happening here. Like this man, and obviously this man is an a-hole as well, but it's like, this man, he actually preferred quote unquote European features or white features when it came to his children. And he couldn't get that. So he settled. By the way, if you want to know someone's true preference, ask them what kind of children they want to have. Ask them what they want their children to look like. And that will show you what their true preference is. Because that means that they find those features attractive. So if a woman says that she wants her babies to be mixed, or like if she could choose, she would have her baby be mixed with green eyes or whatever, that means that her physical preference and the features that she thinks are attractive are mixed with green eyes. So you can always tell someone's sexual preference or what someone finds beautiful based on how they want their children to look.
I was, looking for...
You taking 10 minutes to say you wanted to have a baby that you thought was pretty.
Yeah, I wanted to have the life that I thought of. Yes, Your Honor.
And the life you thought of was a life of what? A child that looked like you?
Yes, Your Honor. But not, I found Tanya at the gym after a spin class, and whatever boxes I may have needed to check, she seemed to check all of them. I mean, look at her.
You met Mr. Lennox at the gym?
Yes, Your Honor.
You liked him, he liked you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You started a relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you or were you not forthcoming about your life, your family, your background, your past? I was, as much as I felt like I needed to disclose. I did not disclose to him certain things about my past. I did let him know that my parents were killed in a plane crash, leaving my brother and I all alone. My brother...
Took me to figure that out, Your Honor. Like we're talking months of our relationship before she would cry when I'd ask her.
He was very much so focused on my facial
features. And I eventually got her to tell me.
Okay, I had to pause it right here because I just caught this while I was editing. She says that he was very much focused on her facial features. A lot of us exoticals know this because in the white community, they will actually tell you, you're not like other blacks, or you don't look the same. You have quote unquote pretty features. So now that I'm editing this, I'm noticing that what she's essentially saying is he was focused so much on how my features were different to the point where I didn't feel comfortable telling him that my facial features are essentially fake. And so what happened to that talking point? I thought that white men preferred unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black women who had the most African features of them all, which she no longer has those same West African features with the wide, flat nose and the very full lips or whatever. But a lot of us in the exotical space can attest to this. In non-black communities, they do not view all black people as the same. A lot of people in non-black communities actually do not follow the one-drop rule. They can see the difference between a person with a wide nose versus a person with a slimmer nose versus a person with light eyes or dark eyes. So they can tell the difference.
So I didn't really feel like there was an opportunity for me to share a heartfelt moment with him. So wait, you all are in a relationship, but you didn't ever feel there was time for you to have a heartfelt moment with a man you're in a relationship with? That doesn't make sense. Well, the issue at hand is my cosmetic procedures. After my parents were killed in the plane crash, I underwent a ton of cosmetic procedures so that I would not have to be reminded of my mother and what had happened to her.
Okay, so she's admitting that she went under a ton of cosmetic procedures. So this is coming out of her own mouth. She's not saying she just got a nose job. You know, it's not like she just got one thing or a chin reduction or something. No. She said out of her own mouth a ton of cosmetic procedures.
So I did. This is all cosmetic surgeries. And I just wanted to be away with my past. And he felt like because I did not disclose that to him, that now our child is ugly. We just had a child and he started calling my baby ugly.
That is not what
my baby is only 1 year old. He's handsome. And he says that because the child does not look like his family lineage, that my baby is ugly.
Your Honor, that's
well, Mr. Lennox, I don't understand how you could be upset with what a new baby looks like. Why are you upset about that?
It is not my child's looks that upset me.
So what is it?
It was seeing my child for the first time and how it felt I was looking at a complete stranger, didn't look like either parent. It put into motion in my head now what had been, I guess, percolating for a while, that this woman that I thought I knew was not telling me about her life, and I immediately, my first thought was she must be cheating on me. This child doesn't look like me. So the
baby, you felt like the baby didn't look like you, and it didn't look like Miss Pointer, so you were like, I'm not the father.
She knows my position on plastic surgery. I think it's disingenuous and it lacks integrity.
Okay, so this is just a social climbing tip for those of you who are receiving plastic surgeries. You guys know my viewpoint on this. I am pro meeting your internalized beauty standard. It doesn't matter what it is. So whether your beauty is real or fake, who cares? But I would just say, just a social climbing tip, if you are going to get plastic surgeries, if you're going to be wearing weaves, if you're going to be wearing wigs, make sure that when you are vetting a man that he does not have a problem with that. So make sure you ask him before you guys start dating, like, hey, what are your thoughts on weaves? What are your thoughts on wigs? Do you care about stuff like that? And then if he says, I don't like it, then you dump him because it means that he's not your type or you're not his type. Like, this is something that I've asked guys that I've dated, like, what are your thoughts on extensions or getting your nails done or girls wearing makeup? How do you feel about stuff like that? You don't have to tell him my hair's fake or I had these surgeries, but just ask him, what do you think about this stuff? And then if he says, I don't like it, and you like to wear that stuff, then you can just cut his ass off.
I would not have married, let alone pay for an IVF fertilization treatment with someone who had an addiction to plastic surgery, like Tanya certainly does. And
did you say that before you all decided to have a sexual relationship?
I made it very clear, Your Honor.
So you said, I want to have a child with you. I'm willing to pay for IVF, but just tell me, have you had any plastic surgery?
Your Honor, I didn't feel the need to ask. I mean, look at her. It's very well done. She looks amazing.
Well done. You acting like somebody baked her in the oven.
With all the surgery she's gotten, which is, by the way, is worth way more than the $10,000, $9,800 that I'm here seeking to recoup. It is as if, I mean, somebody really went to work on her. And of course, I don't know anything about that. Nothing about that part of her life.
What does this mean? I'm not liking the way you're objectifying Miss Pointer.
So superficial. I apologize for that, but I offer into evidence a photo here that I found. And please tell me, Your Honor, if that looks like the same person to you.
Okay, so here's one of the photos, but I can tell you as a person who studies cosmetics and the psychology of beauty, and I keep up with the industry, whether it's Botox, fillers, whatever, this picture actually does not even look like a natural picture. She appears to have already had potentially some work done in this photo.
She looks a little different, but the shape of her face, the shape of her eyes, her eyebrows, and her nose is different. May I just say that I'm not ashamed of that photo. I did not get those cosmetic procedures because I thought that I was ugly. I got those cosmetic procedures because it was traumatizing looking in the mirror and being reminded of my mother's face. So it was very devastating for me to find out that he felt like our child was ugly. I did not get those procedures to become this different person. I got those procedures so that I wouldn't be reminded of what had happened in my past.
And why'd you say that you're the new Tanya now and the old Tanya's dead and forget about her? I mean,
because the old Tanya died when her parents died. But you didn't know the old Tanya anyway, right?
I didn't, and I still I don't know the new one either. I had to pull teeth to get
but wait a minute. So your testimony is you don't know her, but you also decided to pay for IVF treatments to have a baby with her, but you didn't know her. She wouldn't answer questions. She wouldn't tell you anything about her past. She wouldn't let you know about her family. But you know what? This is the girl I want to have a baby with through IVF. Make it make sense, Mr. Lennox. I don't have all day.
She assured me that who she was loved me unconditionally, dearly, and that she was wholly honest with me and that there was no need for me to worry. Now I find out that entire argument, that entire line, what she allowed me to believe, what I allowed myself to believe, that was a cover story to prevent me from understanding that she hacked at her body to upgrade herself. I mean, her brother apparently used it to try to start a new life. She upgrades her physical form or something.
Your Honor, hold on. Why are you being so melodramatic about plastic surgery?
It's the lies.
You say you're suing her for breach of contract. What's the contract? And it better say in this contract, I'm going to pay for this IVF as long as you are the natural, original version of yourself with no plastic surgery. I want to see that contract. Where is that?
Your Honor, it's a marriage contract. I feel like I've been used. The damage is plain. I was.
She was beautiful before the surgery. She's beautiful after the surgery. What is the issue? I want to know what your damages are.
I was lied to, and I can't have that lack of trust in a relationship for the rest of my life.
Okay, so you want to get a divorce?
We have gotten a divorce, Your Honor.
Okay, so now you're divorced.
Yes,
so
we
now
are.
what's your issue? You got a divorce. You're not with the liar. You're not married to anybody that had plastic surgery anymore. What is your issue?
My issue is that we did not have a prenuptial engagement going, and I want something. I want some measure of honesty from you, Tanya. Some measure of honesty that you understand.
Honesty don't cost $9,800. I want to know, why are you up in here when I could be having my morning tea? Why are you suing?
Because I said I had an ugly baby.
There you go. Wasting my time. Is a picture of the baby in the evidence?
Yes, it is. There he is right there.
So you're angry because this baby doesn't look the way you envisioned in your mind. This is insanity.
So this man is admitting that he got with this woman and married this woman and agreed to have babies with her because her features were more aligned with his preference, and had a baby with her in hopes that his baby would come out kind of with this aquiline nose or kind of these apple cheeks or whatever, kind of this defined jawline. And then he's mad because essentially the baby has West African features. But I thought that white men were the least colorist, texturist, and featurist, though. I thought that white men didn't really have any preferences when it came to black women. I thought that they didn't prefer certain features over other features in the black community.
This is insanity. You should be ashamed of yourself for even coming in here with this nonsense.
Your Honor, if I may, I felt I've made it very clear. I had a dream when I was young, and it was to not have a disingenuous, lying, deceitful wife. And that is what I found that I've had.
No. What we found is that you are delusional.
Okay.
And guess what? If this is really what you wanted, you didn't have the agreement that reflected what your desires truly were. I don't know if this is because you all have broken up. I really don't know what this is about, but you've stood in this courtroom today and got on my last nerve. I don't have any more time for a judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Okay, so as you can see, dust comes in all shades. A lot of women that get with these divestors, they end up choosing a guy who is just as dusty and just as objectifying as an unambiguous black man would have been. He's suing his ex-wife, trying to get her to pay his bills and trying to get her to pay him because he was dumb enough to think with his dick instead of thinking with his brain, and he couldn't ask the right questions. He was bad at vetting, but also she was bad at vetting as well. So you're getting these same dysfunctional types of relationships, even in the interracial community. And a lot of us here in the exotical space can attest to that, because a lot of you guys over here are the children of black mothers and white fathers. A lot of you guys are the children of these dysfunctional types of relationships. And so I've noticed that in a lot of cases, this is a social climbing strategy for unambiguous black women. It's to get with these white men, or I guess in her case, to get a whole bunch of plastic surgeries or whatever, and then to, try to attract these white men. But I guess my question is, what happens when your precious white man says or does something racist against you? A lot of people talk crap about multiracial people or biracial people, and they say, oh, your white side doesn't like you. Okay, this is an example of that, though. But who chose to get with that white person? A black person. And also, I find it interesting how a lot of people in the black community actually call biracials with black facial features ugly. They called Lotto ugly, or they call kind of lighter skinned people who have more African looking faces ugly. So isn't it interesting how black people can call biracials with black features ugly, but then if a white man does it, it's automatically racist and it's demonized? So isn't it interesting how people only talk about colorism, texturism, and featurism when it's coming from black people, but no one wants to address the colorism, texturism, and featureism that comes from the white community. The white community invented colorism, texturism, and featureism. So divesting into the most colorist, texturist, and featurist community, it is not going to solve your problems. This person says, what this man meant was that the baby has more black features than he imagined. The issue is that if you want a white baby, marry a white woman. Yeah, this man actually wanted a white woman, but he was basically like an incel. But I have noticed a lot of divestors, they specifically go after kind of these incel types of white men. Look at the video that I just made a couple weeks ago about that black woman who married a guy who looked like Santa Claus. And then she had the audacity to say that like mixed race or light-skinned women are jealous of her because of her husband. So a lot of divestors, they will actually chase after kind of these incel or the dusties of the white community, and then they turn around and get upset when these guys are racist or when they try to take their money. This person says if he's so in love with his own lineage and his own family's physical features, he should have married a woman with similar lineage, race, ethnic, etc., as his. Exactly. But he couldn't get that. He couldn't attract that, clearly. This person said he's mad his son looks biracial and not completely white. That's all. He wanted a mixed race child with European features. Someone else says, unpopular opinion. Having kids just so you can have a little mini-me or pretty baby is so ridiculously selfish. They are humans, not baby dolls. I 100% agree. That's part of why I'm child-free, because they are their own individual person. This person says he spoke of her as an object. I found her at the gym. She's very well done. I didn't hear the word love one time from either of them. If he truly loved her as his wife, he would have stayed regardless of not knowing about the plastic surgery and worked through that. Then he insinuated that she cheated. I would never allow him to be around my son. He might hurt him. This is unbelievable. And yeah, he was objectifying her. So isn't it interesting how in the black community, black women talk so much about how they don't want to be objected. They don't want to be fetishized. But then not only will they get jealous of light-skinned women being objectified and fetishized, but they themselves will get into relationships with white men where they are being objectified and fetishized. Someone else says, he has a point. Plastic surgery is a form of misrepresentation, but that child is beautiful. He wanted a baby without black features. End of story. What do you ladies think about the plastic surgery part? Her getting all these plastic surgeries. And I mean, I guess my question is, for the women who get all these plastic surgeries, let's say they change their skin tone. They go from dark skin to light skin. They look like a totally different person or something. What are you going to do when you, let's say you do want to get married or something and have kids? Are you planning on telling your significant other about that? Or, you know, is he going to see the before pictures or something? So for those of you on this channel who have had plastic surgeries, or maybe you've changed your entire appearance in some way, how are you going to navigate that? Because I would say that if that's a part of your social climbing journey, you have to have a strategy as to how you're going to react, or like what you're going to do and say when people see how you used to look. This person says she should have told him she had plastic surgery from the beginning. It is a major thing. Whether it is a medical need or just to upgrade herself, honesty is important, especially when he told her he did not like the plastic surgery. The truth is, he would have never gotten together with her if she looked like her old self. Mature or not, he was not upfront with her. So I actually think that even in that photo that they showed, I think that she potentially could have already had some work done even in that photo. So we'll never know. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.